Yo, what's going on, guys? It is time for another reaction video, and today we're going to be going into Belize from the YouTube channel Walter's World. This is 10 things that shock tourists about Belize. I am going to throw up some links to some other Belize videos, some that I've done reactions to, as well as my visit to Belize back in 2018, I believe it was. So yeah, let's get straight into this.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here on Key Coker here in Belize. And today we have for you our 10 things that shock tourists when they come here to Belize. And I'm going to tell you, the first thing that shocks a lot of tourists when they come here is they speak English. Look, I'm not saying, oh, a lot of people speak English, or in the tourism industry, people speak English. No, the official language of Belize is English. All the signs you see all over the country are in English. You want to have miles per hour? They have that here. It's crazy. You're like, oh my gosh, it's Latin America where they speak English. It's one of those really interesting kind of things. It's actually, this used to be called British Honduras, and Belize only got its independence in 1981 from Great Britain, so you have a lot of British influences here, including the language. So it makes it a lot easier for people to actually come and visit. If you're not sure about your Spanish or your Mayan or whatever, you can be just fine. Now, if you speak Spanish, it's okay. Most people speak English and Spanish, and you'll hear some Creole when you're here, kind of like a Spanglish kind of thing. You will hear that occasionally, but English, you'll be totally fine. So for a lot of people, it's kind of shocking how easy it is to really get around and do everything here because you understand the language just fine. Now, the second thing that kind of shocks people, though, is they think, oh, British influence in the English and stuff like that, so it's going to be quite British, and it's going to be quite refined, and it's going to be on time and stuff like that. Oh, no, no, no. The second thing that's going to shock you when you come to Belize is you gotta be on island time. Even if you're not on the Keys, on the islands, you're gonna be on island time because everything takes a little bit longer when you are here. And that's okay. I mean, you're here to relax. I mean, Belize is perfect for relaxing, okay? The people are chillax, the food takes a while to eat and enjoy and stuff like that. The beer's ice cold. You'll enjoy relaxing, but you gotta realize, when you're ordering your food, when you're getting sat down at a restaurant, when you're waiting for your food, when you're getting your bill, stuff like that, when you're waiting for service, it's island time. So just go, as they say here in Key Coker, go slow, because you have to, otherwise you'll go crazy. And I know for a lot of tourists that can be tough the first few days, but believe me, after a few days, you're totally used to it. Like, oh, you eventually flag down the waitress, order a couple beers, hop in the water for a while, come back out, and then they arrive, okay?
Actually, I'll say that when I was in Belize, I enjoyed the pace because most of my visits to anything in the Caribbean or Central South America, islands and so forth, has always been through a cruise. And when you take a cruise and you go into these destinations, you usually get, 8 or 10 hours there. So you have to get off the ship, go do your excursion, get back on the ship, and it's all very, in a very timely manner. But with that being said, a lot of the times you go do these excursions and these events and they seem very rushed, like they're trying to rush. And you don't really get to enjoy the experience. And when I went to Belize we went to Key Coker and we got to do the swimming with sharks and stingrays and going over the coral reef and feeding the tarpon and all that stuff. And even had time to squeeze in a meal. Everything seemed at like a nice pace. We weren't like rushed through the experience. So I quite appreciated that in Belize. And the fact that, like you said, the English speaking makes it easier to communicate as well.
Okay, so that's another thing to know about, all right? Now, when you are ordering those conch fritters, or you're getting a fried jack, or you're getting yourself the Pelican beer, or stuff like that, or anything made with rum, another thing that shocks tourists is you pay in US dollars here, or you can pay in US dollars here. Look, Belize has its own currency, the Belizean dollar, okay? But the thing is, it's pegged to the US dollar 2 to 1, and you'll see prices in Belizean money, so it'll be like 20. But you can just pay with a $10 bill, no problem. You can interchange them, no big deal, which is really awesome. And let me tell you, as a tourist, I know in a lot of the online things and a lot of the books, they say, oh, there's ATMs all over the place. No, there's not. Sometimes it's hard to find ATMs and stuff like that, especially if you're going to be going out and about and seeing some of the Mayan ruins. I mean, you're going snorkeling, come on, there's nothing out there, but you do have those things. So bring some US cash when you come here. If you're coming from Europe or other places that don't use US dollars, I mean, you're going to need to get some US dollars because I have not seen very many exchange places at all when you're here, so know that. But hey, paying in US dollars, so much easier. You don't have to worry about it. But Belize, Belize money, Belize dollars, you'll be fine too, no big deal. That's what comes out of the ATM. But hey, I just took out some money before I came here in the US and just spent US dollars when I was here. You will get your change back in Belizean money sometimes, and sometimes in US dollars if they have it, so you do have that, okay? Now, another thing I should talk about with the money is you're gonna be shocked when you come here that Belize, though it's in Central America, for those of you who don't know, Belize is sandwiched kind of between Guatemala and Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. I mean, it's gorgeous here, and it's beautiful, and the people are awesome, but you have this Latin American vibe when you're here. But the thing is that shocks people is you don't have Latin American pricing when you come to Belize. I'm not gonna lie to you. Belize is more expensive than pretty much anywhere else I've been in Central America, okay? Now, and the reason some of that is if you're going to go to the Keys, like here in Key Colker, or go to San Pedro and stuff like that, is it's islands, okay? So you're going to have the upcharge because you have to bring everything here. But what I have noticed is, you know, eating and the tours and the accommodation is more expensive than when we were in Nicaragua or Guatemala or Costa Rica, stuff like that. Well, maybe like close to Costa Rica prices, kind of like there, versus a Nicaragua or Guatemala, okay? So, and that especially goes for when you do tours when you're here, whether you're gonna be going to the Mayan rooms near the Guatemalan border, or you're here on Key Colker and you're gonna be taking snorkeling out or scuba diving out to the Blue Hole. It just feels that the tours cost more than they should. I mean, the tours are awesome here, and I'll talk about those later, but it just feels like they're a bit higher price than they should be. Not that you're upset about the tours, it's just one of those things that just is a bit more expensive than the rest of Latin America, or I'd say Central America specifically. Now, the next thing that shocks people when they come here is, I'll be honest with you, when you go snorkeling and scuba diving and go to the beach here, oh my God, the water, crystal clear, gorgeous. We're taking the water taxi in from Belize City over to here. You're like, oh my God, look at that water. My son's like, look, is that a school of fish? I'm like, yes, that is a school of fish. It's so cool. We're out here.
I can attest to that. It is beautiful, beautiful water. The greens and the blues in the water, or it's just really pretty. Like what you can see in the background here, that's literally what it looks like. But it looks even better in person than it does in the videos.
My son's like, look, is that a school of fish? I'm like, yes, that is a school of fish. It's so cool. We're out here. I mean, seriously, straight behind us, we're in the water, and there's schools of fishes swimming around. So even if you got your kids and you want to go on one of the tours to go snorkeling, you can just hop in the water here and enjoy it. It's just gorgeous. But if you're a scuba person or a snorkeling person, pay for those tours. Go to the Blue Hole to see that if you want to see those things. If you want to see more wildlife, you might want to go to different places than the Blue Hole. But Blue Hole is one of those really cool places to see. But if you really see a lot of like sea life and wildlife and stuff like that, not probably the best one to go to. But there's all kinds of other stuff to see. You want to see manatees, you want to see the fish, you want to see sharks, rays. There's so many cool things to see. But when you're on the beaches here, the beaches are gorgeous, okay? And when you watch the sunrise on the beach, oh my God, it's so gorgeous. Or since there are keys out here, these islands, well, Belize is the mainland's behind me. You can watch the sunset here as well, and it's just gorgeous. So believe me, you want to hit the beaches when you're here, all right? It's just awesome, and do all the cool stuff that goes along with it. Now, the next thing that's going to shock you when you come here to Belize is when you go and see the Mayan ruins. Look, Belize has got like between 350,000 and 400,000 people here.
This is something I want to go do the next time I'm there, and I say the next time, and that's because I really do want to go back to Belize. I've never seen any ruins in any of the countries so far, and my last name is Maya, so I think it would be cool to see the Mayan ruins. Not that there's any correlation of my last name and the Mayans, but it's just fun. And, you know, fun fact, when I was in Belize and Key Colker, they had signs all over the place with Maya, and so I made sure to get my picture next to a lot of those signs because I'm a dork like that.
Look, Belize has got like between 350,000 and 400,000 people here, give or take, with the tours and stuff like that. But the thing is, back in the day, there was 1 million Mayans that lived here in Belize, and you have some really cool ruins scattered throughout the country, and it's really something you should check out when you are here. Caracol is probably the biggest one here in the country. You can go see that easily. There's a few more of them. I know there's one you go to, and we were at the ferry, and they like hand crank the ferry across for you to go up there to see the lookout point. I mean, it's just really kind of cool. And I'll be honest, if you're going to be staying in San Ignacio, okay, that's kind of like the base for like the adventure tourism and tube canyon or cave tubing and stuff like that. I'll talk about that later in the shocks. When you go there, you can actually go over to Guatemala for the day to go to Tikal. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is a huge, huge Mayan complex with huge towers and huge temples and all kinds of stuff. I mean, they figured out there's probably like 10,000 structures there.
Wow.
And they have, you know, a few hundred uncovered now. I mean, it's just really amazing. And you can see how the jungle vegetation has climbed over the stuff. But you can see that in a lot of the ones here too. But Tikal can be an easy, like, oh, I want to go over to Guatemala for a bit. Very easy to get over there, but I shouldn't talk about that because this is about the shocks of Belize, so definitely check out the Mayan ruins here. They are very cool. Now my next shock for you has to do with getting around, maybe getting to those Mayan ruins inland, which is gorgeous up there by the way, or maybe it's coming here to the Keys. It's transportation in Belize. Look, you're gonna fly into Belize City, which is not the capital by the way, but you're gonna fly into Belize City and you can just hire a driver to take you to Ste Ignacio if you wanna go do those things. If you wanna come here you can grab a water taxi, yeah, you can grab the water taxi, have a taxi, take you to the water taxi, they'll bring you here out to the Keys. Or you can do a little flight over there. There's all kinds of different ways to get around, but I will say is when you're driving around, since there's so few people, it's pretty sparse when you're on the highway. Or the roads around here, and they will be pretty bumpy. Like I'm like talking boom, boom, boom. So be ready when you're taking your transportation around here, because it can be a bit like shaky and bumpy and all kinds of stuff. But when you do drive around, no matter where you go in the country, you have gorgeous views. Whether you're heading inlands or you're heading on the water taxi here to Key Coker. I mean, one of the things that got me is when I got to here to Key Coker, they use golf carts as transportation. There's no cars here. And you're like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. So you have those things. So transportation around here can be pretty interesting. I will say if you transport on your feet when you are here doing the hikes, definitely be prepared for a lot of hiking and stuff like that. But it is kind of a cool thing. And my next shock for you has to do when you are walking around on your little footsies, and that is you can drink while you're walking around. Yes, if you're coming to the Keys and stuff like that, you'll see people walking with a drink all the time. Nobody giving any troubles or anything like that. Yeah, because in Belize, technically, you can walk around with a beer, you can walk around with a rum drink, because that's what you're gonna go for here, the rum. And the thing is, the only thing you need to know is don't have it in glass jars or glass bottles, okay? Have an aluminum can, you know, of beer or a drink, or just put it in a plastic cup and you'll be totally fine. That's the way you do it, so you can just totally relax. Because this place is, remember, go slow, relax, it's Belize, you're gonna have a nice time, just chillax. But it's really nice to chillax and go, hey, I can walk around with my drink, I don't have to leave it at the bar behind. Nope, you can have a good time with that. Now, when you're walking around with your drink, you may say, hey Mark, am I gonna be safe walking around with this drink? I mean, one of the biggest searches when I put Belize, the thing that comes up on Google is Belize safe, and safety in Belize, things like that. That is one thing that has shocked me, is how safe I felt here in Belize.
I can attest to that as well. I actually felt plenty safe while I was there. Again, I came with the cruise ship and we came in on the cruise port, went straight out on our excursion, a little bit of time on the port before having to go back to the boat. But I felt safe while we were there. Now, that being said, we were definitely in all the touristy areas, so maybe that is safer there, but I never felt like unsafe. And I can't say the same as some of the other places I've been when I visited other countries, even through the cruises.
And I'll be honest with you, Belize is pretty chillax here. The people are pretty chillax. So I say, hey, you want to come to our, like the punters, the people try to get you into the restaurants and stuff like that. You're like, nah, man. They're like, oh yeah, next time, man, no worries. I mean, it's kind of like really laid back that way. And I have felt pretty safe here with my kids, which is really nice, which is different than if you look online and look at the crime numbers here. I mean, the crime levels here in Belize are really bad, but they'll tell you, oh, that's mostly Belize City or the southern part of Belize City, and it's true. And the thing is, a tourist, you're not going to stay in Belize City. You're going to come straight out here to the Keys and go enjoy out here, or you're going to head inland to like Ste Ignacio or some other places and enjoy those, because there's a lot of places to go that aren't in the crime part of the country. Now, having said, I feel really safe here. I will say there's some certain things, you know, the danger of the sun and the bugs, that's a big thing. When you're driving around, always have your seatbelt on. If you are going to be drinking with your buddies, do not go out late night by yourself. You know, always be going in a group, stuff like that. You know, basic travel safety stuff. I would have that. So I would say, though the statistics make Belize look unsafe, it's not as unsafe as you think, because it's not. You're not going to be going to those parts where those things happen. Okay, so but do pay attention. Now, for the 10th thing, I want to talk about the nature and all some of the cool like adventure stuff you can do. But we're going to go to Ste Ignacio to finish this one off. So bye from Key Coker. So here we are in Ste Ignacio to finish off our 10 shocks. And the 10th thing that's going to shock you when you come here to Belize is the nature adventure tourism you can do. Look, we're here based in Ste Ignacio. Good place to be based to do some of the cool stuff. Like, oh, have you ever thought of going tubing? Yeah, there's tubing. But have you ever done cave tubing? Oh yeah, you can do that here. Also, great base to go and see those Mayan ruins I talked about. You can see them here because they're right near the Guatemalan border. I mean, from Tikal, you can get easily from here, but that's in Guatemala. But the thing is, horseback riding, kayaking, canoeing, stuff like that. This is like, oh my God, there is so much outdoor adventure stuff to do. So you have kind of a nice mix. You can do the beaches on the Keys like I showed you, or you can be here in San Ignacio and have like a laid back time and do adventure stuff during the day and then relax at night in some of the bars and restaurants here in town. So I hope that helps you be a bit better prepared for coming to Belize. If you want to learn more, maybe the don'ts of coming to Belize, or maybe you want to just know some of the basic what to know before you come to Belize, check us out on our website at waltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions, and if you do click subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that every Wednesday and Saturday when we put out new videos, it definitely shows up in your feed. I'd like to give a special...
Everything he just said, you can go do that on mine too, at Melvin Maya. Subscribe, click the bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video and all that good stuff. But yeah, definitely go check out his YouTube channel, Walter's World. He does a lot of really good content. This isn't my first time reacting to his videos. I've reacted to some just recently, actually, I think a couple days ago. So go check his YouTube channel out. If you've ever been to Belize, tell me the things that you got to do that you loved. Tell me the things that you maybe didn't care for too much. And if you haven't been to Belize, tell me some places that you really want to travel to. What's on your bucket list? What's your top 10 or top 5 destinations that you want to visit? If you're new here, like I said, make sure to subscribe, click the bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. It does help the algorithms. And share this video. Share it wherever you are on social media. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.